Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday. We're on Tuesday. How is everybody doing today? I always say we, but it's usually because it's alive and people do pop on sometimes. So, all right, these cards keep popping out, so I have a feeling that's it. But over the next 3 days, Tuesday Thoughts, Self-Care Wednesday, and Things to Think on Thursday, I'm going to be doing my best to lay the foundations of self-love so that on Monday, when we start our 30 lessons of self-love, we'll be able to hit the ground running and have somewhat of a firm ground, instead of just jumping right into it and expecting you to just be like, okay, here we go. So, I really want people to get the most out of it. Like I said, it'll be the third time I'm doing that particular exercise, and I'm so much closer than I used to be when it comes to this stuff. So I really feel like it's going to benefit me along with other people. So we'll see what happens. So good morning, baby sibling. All right, we'll start with this one. But and then I'll lay some foundations for what we're gonna be talking about over the next few days. So like I mentioned yesterday, over the next 3 days, including Self-Care Wednesday, I'm going to be covering, we're going to be laying the foundation for next week's start of 30 Lessons of Self-Love. And right here, I pulled from the Love and Relationships deck, but what I want to focus on is not so much love and relationships outside, but the love and relationship with yourself. So I shuffled these already. We'll shuffle them one more time. Then we'll pull some cards, and we'll just pull them over the next couple of days. So like I said, there's 20, so I'll probably pull 6 today and then 7 and 7 tomorrow, or we'll see how it goes. But while I wait for people to come on, let's just do these. I laughed because I saw this one and then I read it. Crawl out from under your damn rock and go be with people. Socialize, live, be one with the world. Positive changes are coming. Change in feelings and transformation. So there you go. The pumpkin. Gratitude, generosity, harvest, abundance, potential, creativity, autumn, fertility, love, wealth, and good luck. Carve out the path of your life's journey. It will be okay. No fear. All right. Wander. Not all those who wander are lost. I actually have this this patch on one of my traveling backpacks. Written about Aragorn, the true king. It symbolizes how a destiny may not always be accepted, but cannot always be ignored either. So those of you not familiar with Aragorn, he would be the king in the Lord of the Rings. Well, the true king in Lord of the Rings, the return of the king in Lord of the Rings. But again, I think the most important part is it symbolizes how a destiny may not always be accepted, but cannot always be ignored either. Let's see. Okay, one more. Here we go. If you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to take time for your illness. Make yourself a priority. I think that's the best card to run into with the self-love. Right. So, let's get rolling. Let's get cracking, McCracken. All right. So, as I spend the next few days laying the foundation for the 30 lessons of self-love, I want people to realize that it doesn't always happen overnight, but the lessons that will be coming up will be, good morning, older sibling. The lessons that are going to be coming up are going to really be asking you to dig deep, to look within. A lot of times we'll see something like the 30 days of self-love and you'll get they're all basically tasks. Okay, it's not like the 28 days or 28 lessons of gratitude. 28 lessons of gratitude were quotes, and we talked about them. These are actually going to be tasks of things that it wants you to do. And the reason I'm spending the next few days going over, since we finished 28 days or 28 lessons of gratitude yesterday, the reason I wanted to spend the next few days setting the foundation for self-love is because I think if we go in with a bit of a reinforcement of what we're trying to do with learning about the 30 lessons of self-love, I think it will help us better be honest You know, like for example, I'm going to go deep into this lesson so that I'm going to go deep into this lesson so that by the time we get there, you know, we'll have forgotten it by then. But here's a lesson. What things make you feel bad, but you find yourself doing them anyway? And it's going to be those kind of things. Now, we could do the surface answer, right? You could say, well, eating bad food makes me feel bad. Well, that's great. But what is causing you to eat that bad food? I'm using myself as an example, right? I'm an emotional eater. I'm a recovering emotional eater. But the thing is what causes you to eat that bad food, but you do it anyway? Is it because you're indulging for the day? Is it because you're just like, oh, you know what? It's going to be my whatever day. Or is it because you're feeding an emotion? Those are the things that I want to set the foundation for so that when we do get to the 30 lessons of self-love starting next Monday, we are able to really kind of look deep within. We're able to really kind of look at ourselves and put the mirror up to our face and say, all right, this is something I really want to do. Now, not all of them are going to be that heavy. Some of them are going to be fun. You know, there's one in there, I believe, about taking a selfie. But a lot of them are really, really going to be questions that challenge you to think about how you want to embrace self-love, what it means to you, how you can overcome certain, you know, limited beliefs or learned beliefs and learned traits so that you can fully embrace this particular path. Okay, so I will reiterate this over and over and over again. This will be the third time I'm doing this, and this will be the third time where I think I'm actually going to truly get something out of it, because I have been on this crazy healing journey since the last time I did this. I was on the healing journey then, but I've come so far that I'm not afraid to put the mirror up to myself anymore. I'm not afraid to be honest. You know, I was watching a TV show the other day about how oh no, it was on the news. And I guess one streaming service did a story about somebody, and that somebody's mad because it was unauthorized, right? And they're like, well, they stole my story and it's unauthorized, but they're also doing their own story. Now, if you watch both of them, which one is probably going to reflect better on this person? The one that just tells everything that's happened over the last however many decades, or the one that they have the input in and can pick and choose what they want people to see? I have never been shy about the fact of my shortcomings. I have talked about how I have almost messed up friendships and relationships with family because I overstepped, and I really tried not to. But, you know, I realized that when you want to help people, you can't fix them. You cannot fix their problems. You cannot fix their lives. You can just be there for them. They have to trip and fall on their own. But you can be there to help them up. You can be there when they need that person to lean on. I learned that the hard way. And I'm grateful that I didn't destroy some of these relationships, because some of them are very, very close and personal to me. You know, I mean, this is my family. My family. So, and I don't just mean like my adopted family. I mean, this is my blood family. And this, you know, I talked about it in the past. But I'm not afraid to share my shortcomings. I'm not afraid to share my trauma, because that's what helps people heal. I have nothing to hide. In fact, I think when we show who we were and who we're becoming, or who we're basically cleaning all that muck and crap off of to unveil this shiny person that's always been there, we can look back and say, wow, look how far I've come. Or people can look back and say, wow, look how far she's come. If she can do it, I can do it. It's about inspiring people to be better. And I don't mean be like a better person. You may already be a wonderful person, but I mean to be better, to feel better, and mostly about yourself. It was when I started to learn self-love that all of these things really started to come into focus. And I realized that a lot of the things that I was doing when I was overstepping was me projecting onto other people. I was hurting and I didn't want anyone else to hurt. So I was trying to fix things. Or I would be angry, and so I didn't, or I would be sad, or I would be all these different emotions, and I didn't want to feel alone. So instead of trying to fix it and feel better about it, I would try to bring people down to my level. But that's not what we want to do. We want to raise people up. And one of the ways we raise people up is usually by being the one who's standing there, giving them the hand to pull them up. You don't always have to boost people on your shoulders. If you're going to boost people on your shoulders, make sure that you have a strong enough foundation that when people are standing on your shoulders achieving great things, it's because you're also in a good place. And, you don't want the jealousy, because the jealousy will start to crack that foundation. You don't want the envy, because the envy will start to crack that foundation. Everybody's life path is different. Everybody's going to go in different directions. We may all start in the same place. We all may even have the same destination, but everybody's journey is different on how we get there. You could have, just as a kind of more like a vague example, you could have people going for the same degree, right? But that doesn't mean they're all going to take the same classes together or in the same order that other people took them. Some people may take all their super hard classes at the beginning and skate through at the end. Whereas other people may be like, oh, this is really hard, so I'm going to take all the easy stuff first and then struggle in the end. But you still get there in the end, because it's about not quitting. It's about keep going even when you're faced with these super big walls that you just don't think you can climb your way over. But if you keep running at that wall and you keep trying to tackle that wall, you're going to make it over. Okay? There's always something there and someone there to help you over. You just have to be brave enough and love yourself enough to see that. There's always going to be someone there trying to help you. But a lot of times we push it away because we think, well, I can do this on my own. If you really stop and think about it, everything we've ever done that's happened in life, even great things, has not always been done alone. You did the majority of the work. You did the majority of the footwork, yeah, and the heavy lifting. But someone may have been there for you when you were falling apart and didn't think you could move forward any farther. When you thought that this is as far as I can go, I'm done. I can't do this. And then somebody comes up and says, hey, great job on whatever you may have done. And that may be the spark you need to keep moving, because someone is seeing your progress. Someone is seeing what you are doing. All right. So for Tuesday, we're going to start with the definition of self-love. And I got this from Webster's dictionary. So the definition of self-love is regard for one's own well-being and happiness, chiefly considered as a desirable rather than a narcissistic characteristic. And the reason I added that last part in there, that's actually in parentheses, the chiefly part, is because a lot of people are afraid to be confident. A lot of people are afraid to speak their mind. A lot of people are afraid to stand up for what they believe in. And a lot of people are afraid to really kind of embrace their self-love, because some people out there may not be able to do so or may not believe in it. So they put you down or they call you a narcissist. I've known narcissists in my life. If you are embracing if you are embracing self-love, you are not a narcissist. What you are is someone who's trying to get better. And if you start out as a narcissist and somehow you manage to find true self-love, not just love of self, okay? Not just, I'm the greatest person in the world and I'm just going to love me. That's a narcissist. That's not what self-love is. Self-love is about seeing your worth. It's about self-care, self-respect. It's about showing this to others and telling them, hey, I've been there. Here's my hand. Let me pull you up. Or let's sit down and talk. Or I'm here to listen. That's what self-love is. And it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but that's what it means to me. It's about truly seeing the person that you see in the mirror. It's about truly seeing that person in your reflection. Not the person that you think other people see, not the person you wish you were, whether you wish you were a certain size or taller or different color hair, but the person who is looking right back at you and loving them from head to toe, inside and out, backwards and forward. Is self-love always going to be there every single day? It may not. Some days you may have to work harder for it. But again, It's regard for one's own well-being and happiness. If you have a dinged up mental health, it may be a little harder to find that. Because people who struggle with that, including myself, sometimes we just feel so broken. We just think that, we're not worthy of who we are. That we're worthless. That, and our brain will lie to us. Our brain will lie to you all the time, especially if you have a dinged up mental health, but it's not exclusive to people with a dinged up mental health. If you have low self-esteem, that doesn't mean you have a mental illness. No, it just means that somewhere along the way, you got beaten down somewhere. And that's what this is all about. This self-love is about teaching us how to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and start to love and to see the person that we are. And the person that we deserved, to be. All right, so let's get to some of these cards. Like I said, I went through the deck and I pulled what I thought would be the best ones for this, but like I said, I already shuffled them. So over the next 3 days, we're just going to pull from the top. I will pull out the other ones, or put them underneath, right? Face up, so that we don't go over them again. But let's see what we got here. Number 1, I'm a little nervous because these are all cards that I chose that I thought would help us kind of lay that foundation, that solid foundation for this house of self-love that we are going to build. All right, so look at that. I'm a catch. I kind of like that this is the first card, because one of the things that people tend to be down about themselves on is the fact that they just don't feel like they're worthy of someone else's love, or they're not good enough, or they're not pretty enough, or handsome enough, or skinny enough, or tall enough, or whatever, not blonde enough, or not brunette enough, or not red-haired enough, whatever. I don't have blue eyes, so no one's gonna like me. Seriously? Not true. And yes, that has been a thought when I was growing up, because I always wanted blue eyes, but sorry, that's bothered me. But did not have them. They're brown. They're like depends on the season. All right, they get lighter, but sometimes if I wear green, they're green-ish. But there are a lot of different things that we will find excuses for on why we're not good enough for somebody. If you are a plus size person, like as myself, a lot of times we feel unlovable because society makes us feel unlovable. And, people are starting to embrace it more. You start to see commercials reflecting a little bit more of the people who are not exactly tiny. Sorry, I got some kind of, I don't know, I think it was from the Kleenex. But anyways, don't want to get off track here. We just feel like we're not enough. We feel like, maybe somebody likes us, but they don't want to be with us because they're afraid of what their friends are going to think. If that resonates with you on either side, that's where self-love and self-respect needs to be. If you are worried about what your friends are going to think because you have someone particular in mind that you really like and you enjoy their company, or you just like their presence or the aura of their being, then either you're underestimating the power of how much your friends love you, or you need new friends. And I know that sounds terrible, but I've been around judgy people. I've cut ties with toxic friends because nobody needs that. You don't want somebody holding you back. And you know why most people do hold you back? Most people will hold you back because they see how happy you are and they're not. There's a possibility that somewhere subconsciously inside of them, they just are so worried about appearance that they don't know how to be truly happy, because they're putting all of their faith and their love and their joy into the wrong things. And I stand by that comment. I stand by that statement. I used, when I was a lot younger, I would sometimes get caught up in appearance just because I wanted people to like me. I had such low self-esteem that if anybody paid attention to me, it was like, oh. But now I'm not worried about that, because what other people think of me is none of my business. And it's like that saying goes, if you can't love me at my worst, whatever somebody's worst might be, if you can't love somebody at their worst, you don't deserve them at their best. Okay? And that's period, across the board. I don't care if you're thick, thin, tall, short, whatever. If you cannot accept somebody at their worst, then you do not deserve them at their best. And if you're going to put people down and judge them about that, then think about what you're doing to them, how much you're hurting them, how much you're kind of just tearing them down. And then ask yourself why. Is it because you feel like that person? I haven't really judged. I stopped judging people by their appearance when I was very, very young. Because I told you guys about that one time. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I saw a man walking by, and my mom says, you should never say that because you don't know what their issue is. You don't know what they're going through. And it was a very, very heavy lesson for me. Very, very heavy lesson for me. And it really made me think about that. And the reason I said that was because I was already going through my trauma. My trauma my parents never knew about. And I just wanted to feel better about myself than I did about someone else. And that was one of the first lessons of self-love that I learned that I never understood or realized, maybe even until now. Thank you, older sibling. So I'm going to get rolling with the cards because, I could talk all day. I'm a catch. I'm a total catch, and I know all the reasons why. I know that anyone would be lucky to be with me, and that doesn't mean I'm arrogant or snobby. Self-respect is just one of many qualities exhibited by this complete and utter babe. See? Oh, by the way, these are the snarky cards, all right? And when I say snarky cards, they are meant to teach us lessons with self-help cards without all the self-helpiness. All right, that's what the box says. Self-help cards without all of the self-helpiness. So they're going to be in your face. And that's why I picked this deck, because I think humor is good. But I also think that it kind of drives the point home. All right, and that's what I love about this card. So for all of you out there who think, oh, I have to be this way or that way for anybody to like me. No, just be yourself. Just be your wonderful, fabulous, amazing, awesome self. All right, I'm going to read this card one last time, and then we're going to move to the next. I'm a catch. I'm a total catch, and I know all the reasons why. I know that anyone would be lucky to be with me, and that doesn't mean I'm arrogant or snobby. You're not. Self-respect is just one of many qualities exhibited by this complete and utter babe. So there you go. Anyways, this is what I'm hoping for everybody in the end. To come out of that cocoon and be this beautiful butterfly. All right, including myself, to kind of stay there. Receiving. Look at that. Receiving. It's like, yeah, my arms are open to you. I open up and allow myself to receive love in all ways from all directions. It may seem scary, but it's better than receiving audits, bedbugs, or hate mail. I receive love, and it feels so good that I decide to receive it some more, and then some more, and maybe just a wee bit more. So you have to commit. All right. Now I can say I don't remember all the cards that I pulled because it was quite a bit ago. But I do know there's a commitment card in there. And the reason I pulled that one is because I want you to commit to your self-love, to learning this self-love, to really staying on there. If you miss a day, they go on YouTube. If you can't find it on Facebook, I mean, all you have to do is look up my profile and scroll through, but it would be easier to find it on YouTube. And to go by the dates if you missed one, okay? Because you don't necessarily need to listen to the whole thing. I always cover the thing right at the beginning, the lesson right at the beginning, and then I talk about it. But I want people to stick to this, all right? This isn't going to be the 1-minute things that I did on Snapchat twice. This is going to be full intro. Now, they do go up on TikTok and Snapchat after, in which case those will be the short ones. But I really want people to get this because I've struggled with self-love for so long, and I know how hard it can be to really kind of find those foundations, to really kind of to do more than just go through each lesson and say, oh, okay, I got it. I want people to dig deep. I want people to go deeper than the surface. All right. So again, receiving. I open up and allow myself to receive love in all ways, from all directions. It may seem scary, but it's better than receiving audits, bedbugs, or hate mail. I receive love, and it feels so good that I decide to receive it some more, and then some more, and maybe just a wee bit more. And you know what? After seeing this card, I'm going to say I owe older sibling a big apology. she, I don't know why, but she likes to make morning coffee. And she always asks me every morning. I mean, for those that might be new, we're roommates. So, you know, I'll come downstairs and sometimes she'll be down after, but older sibling will always ask me, do you want me to make you some coffee? And on the weekends, sometimes there's whipped cream. Although she asks me now because I don't always like it because, you know, she can use half a can in her cup. But this morning I kept fighting her on it. It's like, no, I can make my own coffee. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. All she was trying to do was show me some love. So older sibling, thank you. Thank you for my coffee. And she even handed it to me. She's all, see, made with love. She is the older sister I never had. Because I'm an only child and she's an only child. So I guess in a way, I'm the baby sister she never had. Well, actually, she has a few because she did meet some people before me. But I'm her favorite. Just kidding. I had to. But she is the older sister I never truly had, and I'm grateful that she's in my life. So, you know, again, I apologize for fighting you so hard on that this morning. And part of it was because I just didn't want her to feel like she had to do it for me. But she was doing it from a place of gratitude and love. And these are the things that I want people to be instilled with. This is what I need to instill myself with. Because as you can see, I also lack a real firm foundation of self-love. So it's not just me coming in and saying, hey, I'm going to teach you about self-love. No, we're going to learn this together. And no matter where you are on your self-love journey, no matter whether you're at the beginning or you're where I'm at, where you just want to really set those foundations and just get this house built and open, we're going to do this together. All right. So card number 3, surrender. That's a good one. I'll explain it in a second. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are heretofore forthwith officially and indubitably declared for the birds. Thank you, older sibling. She says she's very grateful to have me in her life as well. So, this is actually focusing more on big relationships. And, you know, here's one thing about self-love that will help you. When you learn self-love and something big happens to you, maybe some grand gesture from maybe you've been watching somebody from afar and they've been watching you and you have no idea. So they're finally like, I'm going to make this big grand gesture. A lot of times when we have no self-esteem, no self-respect, no self-worth, no self-love, this person will come right up to you and go, let's be a thing. Okay, I'm paraphrasing here, but let's be a thing. And you're going to hem and you're going to haw and you're going to come up with 5 million reasons why. And it's not because you don't want to be with this person. It's because you don't think you're deserving. You don't think you're worth it. And that's not true. When two people eyeball each other, they usually have a thing. There's usually a connection. But when we don't have this real true self-love, sometimes we miss it. Or you may say, okay, let's be a thing. But then you accidentally start to self-sabotage it. Simply based on the fact, because subconsciously, you're not feeling that self-love. You're not feeling that worthiness, that respect for yourself. So you're going to destroy something that makes you feel so good because you don't think you deserve it. And that's not true. That's why we have to surrender. Surrendering isn't about saying, I give up. It's not about showing the white flag. Surrendering is about vulnerability. It's about saying, you know what? I don't want to believe the negative things that I have taught myself or that other people have taught me or that I've learned through the course of my life, through bad events or bad patterns that other people set. It's about removing the limited beliefs that others have taught us, we've learned from other people, or we've taught ourselves because of situations we may have been in. It's about removing that stigma from ourselves. And it's about unveiling this beautiful human being, this beautiful soul that deserves to be seen, that deserves to be loved. and cherished, just like you would do for somebody else. So that's where a lot of that surrender comes in. You have to be able to be vulnerable and to hold that mirror up to yourself if you are going to make this work. So remember, surrendering isn't about throwing the white flag. It's not about saying, I give up. The only thing you're giving up is the negative self-limiting beliefs. All right, so let's read this one last time. Surrender. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are heretofore, forthwith, officially, and indubitably declared for the birds. And to drive that home, for the fucking birds. All right? Let it go. Let it go because it does not serve you. Okay? Let's see. What's the next one? Self-worth. Boom. These are all like a little tiny story, right? You're a catch. And why? Because you're learning how to receive love. You're surrendering and giving up the bad thoughts so that you can start to discover your self-worth. All right? Self-worth. I'll go over that at the end. I cast... excuse me. There's something in my eye. I cast off all concerns about what people think of me. I know I'm a totally kick-ass person, and my kick-assness can never be diminished by rejection. So people can think what they think and feel what they feel. In the meantime, I'll just keep on knowing I'll just keep on knowing what I know without thinking about what they are thinking about what I already know, I think. You can see why I tripped over that one. So, self-worth. I love how she's standing in the middle with that little gold medal around her neck. But it is about casting off all concerns about what other people think. What other people think about you is none of your business. When I finally learned that quote and I really learned and leaned into what it meant, I was like a game changer. It was a game changer. Because what do we really know? How many times have we caught ourselves judging somebody else and we have no idea what their circumstances are? We have no idea what their life is like. You know, it may look perfect on the outside. It may be Facebook perfect or Instagram perfect or Twitter perfect. But we don't know what they're like outside of that social media realm. We don't know what they're like outside of that platform. Are they really happy? Or are they just creating this persona because that's what they wish they had? That's what they wanted. You know, I mean, obviously, when you share things on social media, no one's going to share the shitty stuff. You know, and it's not because they don't want people not to know. It's just because a lot of times when we do share things, it's because we're out there and having fun. You know, I mean, I have not been shy on posting little memes that I found that said nope on them. Because that's how I advocate. I let people know that I'm not just a mental health advocate. I still have these moments where I spiral, where I'm just kind of like, I can't do this today. You know, and I don't know where the whole nope thing started, but I think it started because I remember one time I just posted. I was in such a horrible, horrible place. I felt so visible. I felt nobody saw me. This is a couple years ago. And I posted something and I got so much feedback on that saying, you know what, this is exactly how I feel. Thank you for posting this. Thank you for sharing how you're feeling, because I feel invisible, because I feel this, I feel that, I feel this. And that's the goal, is to not let people be alone. I think part of us when we go through trauma and part of us when we go through all this different kind of pain, we think we're alone simply, possibly, this is me now, this is my perspective. I felt like I was alone because I didn't want anyone else to feel what I felt. When I was finally recovering and healing, truly healing from my trauma, I was floored and astounded by the tons and tons of people I had seen that had been through similar situations as myself and what I would consider worse. And the reason I only considered that worse, because I think all of our trauma across the board is about the same. It's not just about the trauma, it's how we learn to heal. When we take that step forward from our trauma and get into that little circle of healing, that's where we all just kind of intermingle and say, wow, You know, I'm really sorry that happened to you. But when I say for what I went through and I say worse, it's because who did it to them? Who caused that pain? And it's usually the people I'm referring to that it was, you know, they're very, very close, immediate family, parents, siblings, stuff like that. And that breaks my heart, because that was not my trauma. My trauma was not a parent or a sibling. And I'm grateful for that, because my parents kept me, who I truly believe, from being a statistic. And I know some people have great parents that tried, but I leaned into that. That's where my fantasy world was. That was where my perfection was, because I couldn't deal with that over here. I was so young. And so I lost my self-worth for a long time, but I'm finding it again, because I'm not giving power to what hurt me anymore. I'm not giving power to what tried to break me and just throw curveballs at me. And instead of moving, I kept getting hit by them. Until one day I learned how to play catch. Actually, I'm actually pretty good at playing catch, but I'm an only child with a sports-loving father. What can I say? But, and I can throw a football. All right. So, anyways, and I golf. Sorry. So, yeah. Anyway, I lean into the good things. And sometimes that's what we struggle to do, because I'm going to go a little sideways here and go a little deep. And I don't want to trigger anyone, and I don't mean to go this way, but no matter what your experience through your trauma is, it is going to suck the love right out of you, and the respect, and the self-love, and the self-care, and the self-worth. It may not suck all of it out of you, but it's going to do its damnedest to do so. It's going to do its damnedest to break you. If you were a child who went through physical abuse, emotional abuse, or sexual abuse, the person that is doing this to you is going to make you feel so small, so low, so tiny, that it is going to take you years and years to work your way out of it. It doesn't have to take years and years, but a lot of times we don't realize that this is what the basis of this is, because we want to forget about it. We don't want to revisit these things that hurt us. And for many, including myself, I had to, because that's how I became the champion of my own life. It wasn't easy. It hurt. It hurt like fucking shit. I told my therapist once it felt like somebody skinned me alive and dropped me in a vat of alcohol. Now, I don't want to scare anyone, because I'm here now. It was those comments I made and her reminding me, but you're here. You're here, and you're safe here. That helped me find my strength. That helped me unveil the strong person I'd always been. I never thought I was that strong, because I wasn't really in a position where people thought I was strong, because I was hiding so much. But literally in the last year, I had a sibling and I were talking, older sibling and I were just sitting down talking. I said, you know what? I said, when conversations I've had with people, they've always said, all I wish for you is that you find your strength and you're strong. And I said, it took a lot of strength to get through what I went through when I was going through all that stuff. And I said, I don't think I realized it till right now how much strength it took me to make it through, to get through those moments, to get through those times where I just wanted to die. I just wanted to die. Even when I was that young. Because I didn't want it to be a part of my life anymore. And part of that reason is because of my parents. Now, granted, my mom didn't think I was as strong as I was, because I was a very sensitive and emotional child, but she didn't know why. So she thought it was just because I wasn't strong. It took all the strength in the world to hide that from my parents. And I see that now. And even though my mom has passed away, I know she sees that from where she's at. And I think my dad does too. We don't talk about it much because, we try to focus on the good in our lives. But I know it hurt him. I know it hurt my mom. Because all you ever want to do is protect your child, right? All you ever want to do is is tell them, hey, everything's going to be okay, and then you find out that it's not. And my parents even told me, if anybody is ever inappropriate, let us know. But it was about a year too late that they told me that. I know. So I know people are saying, well, how could your parents not know? Trust me, I earned an Oscar for that one. All right. So let's get back into the fun stuff. Let's get back into the fun stuff. Vulnerability. All right. But that, you know what? That was a good segue to vulnerability. I allow myself to talk about my feelings without fear of external judgment or internal drama. When I express my feelings, a couple of funny things happen. 1, I feel like a kindergartner. 2, everything gets lighter, easier, and filled with the comforting glow of honesty. Hey, no wonder kindergartners seem so fun and stress-free. I love how the little swear words are running away. Either that or he's just shouting out some swear words. Either way. I hadn't intended to say what I just said, but it actually worked out to be a very good segue for the card of vulnerability. And I think it is important that we talk about our feelings. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go, I really don't want to be judged. So I'm going to say it again. I know people are, this is going to happen a lot, probably over the next couple of months. Self-love, 30 lessons of self-love is going to go right into October. But I'm telling you, vulnerability is like surrender. You don't have to be vulnerable enough for people to hurt you. Vulnerability is about letting down your guard for yourself to heal, because that's where the strength starts to come from. You're tearing down a brick facade that, stunt people crash through, because they do not crash through real bricks. All right, those things are made of foam. Sorry if I spoiled the surprise. But that's kind of what the walls we build in front of us are made of. They're made out of soft foam that may look tough on the outside, but are so fragile that if you just knock into it, it's going to fall down. The foundations we need to build need to be concrete, need to be firm, need to be strong enough that if your house starts to shake on this foundation, it will not fall. That's what the next 3 days are about learning all these things, about learning the self-worth and surrendering and the receiving of love and knowing that you're a good catch for anybody, and about vulnerability. So again, I will actually get to what I was going to say now, circling back. If you struggle, try therapy. There are clinics, there are places you can call, there are hotlines you can call. There are, if you are feeling suicidal, on ShelBellintheMoment.com under the help site, there are tons and tons of numbers that my friend Jason helped me put together, okay, for the LGBTQ community and for the non-LGBTQ community. I just want them to know that there are helplines in there for them as well, okay, but for everybody across the board. And there are some international numbers too, okay, but I want to put that out there now, because when you start to do this, you may get to a point where you may have to use those numbers. I'm grateful I didn't. I have a very, very strong support group. Older sibling, like I said, she's my roommate. If I'm having she's gonna laugh when I say this, if I'm having an existential crisis, only because we keep seeing these things about people having existential crises lately, but if I'm having a meltdown or I'm spiraling, I literally just come out of my room, go 3 feet across the hall to her room, and she'll listen. And the door's open both ways. But, and I know there's baby sibling. Baby sibling's very, very busy. But I know that when I reach out to her, sometimes she'll just send me back something I really need to hear. On occasion, we're able to talk physically or maybe have a short text conversation. But I know they are there for me. I know they're there for me. And they understand my brain, which is why I single those two out. Because there's a lot of people on the whole that I have as a support group. But these two seem to be the most that are involved in my life. And they're the two that I'm not afraid to be completely vulnerable with when I first started this journey. I'm an open book now. I will say anything, tell anything. There's certain things I don't say just because to protect other people. And but for the most part, I'm 99.9% an open book. Okay? The only time, like I said, I don't give things away is when it might hurt somebody else. Because, you know, when people hurt us, there are still their own people involved. And it's not their fault. So, you know, that's the only thing I've never shared, is who did this to me. Some people know, most people do not. And that is not something I ever will share. You know, I mean, if you're personal, close to me, you probably know. If you are not, then it is just, there are other people I need to protect. So, and of course I was very, 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 very young. So, and they've since gone. So, you know, it's not like it would affect anyone else, but it's my own thing. Okay. But, I only suggest therapy because a lot of times that's what we need. We need somebody who's not going to try to fix us, who's not going to try to, I mean, you're there to get help. And yeah, they might say, how does it make you feel? But a lot of times it's because they want you to tell them, how does this make you feel? Are you angry? Are you sad? And that's what my therapist first said. She says, look, I'm going to be cliche here. How does this make you feel? And and I don't want you to hold back. I'm not your sister. I'm not your mom, your dad, your cousin, all these people I brought up that I have shared things with. I am here to help you. And the first words out of my mouth was, I'm fucking pissed. Because I feel like I've wasted so many years trying to heal something that was never something I should have had to heal. And she said, that's my girl. Let's start there. That's why they ask you that. They don't ask you that to be cliche. They ask you that because they want you to be honest. And that's why I'm going to really kind of pull the veil off of therapy. Therapy's hard. It ain't easy. You might be that person that leaves crying. But it's a good cry. Because this is stuff you've shoved down forever. Stuff you didn't even realize was there. Yes, it is possible to remember things you could not remember 20 years ago. Because you locked it deep inside this little cavern that is like Fort Knox. Because it hurt so bad. Because you couldn't deal with it at the time, or you didn't have a safe space to deal with it. So, and remember, there are places and therapists, you just have to do the homework, who will work on a sliding scale. Your insurance may pay for it. And be honest when you do your intake, so they send you to the right person. Okay, because I'm with Kaiser, so I had to do intake, and then they were able to find me the right person, and she was perfect, because like I said, she also dealt with eating disorders, which helped me a lot. I know it doesn't look like it helped me a lot, but all the tools that she gave me for that, because that was not our focus. That was not our focus. Our focus was to get my head back in a good place, or to get it into a good place. Don't be shy about it. Lots of people make fun of it, but I'm telling you, it's one of the best things that I can honestly suggest. They also have free clinics. All right. So there's a lot of places you can go to. We're going to finish with this one. Actually, yeah, we're going to finish with this one. Tomorrow's will start off, will be pretty fun. My best self. My best self. I trust that when I'm doing what's best for me and being the happiest version of myself, the right sorts of relationships will appear in my life. That means I can let go of all my worries about the future, knowing that my only job is to be happy in this moment. And in parentheses, while simultaneously attaining a cosmic level of enlightened awareness and total psychological self-actualization. That's where we're ending today. Not quite yet, because you know I'm going to read that again. But this is the perfect card to end on the day when we described what the definition of self-love is. And I'm going to read that one last time, all right? The definition, my God, what is wrong with me? Maybe I need to drink of water. I'm getting tongue-tied. I think, because I'm nervous. My subconscious knows it's going in for a duel. That's right. There's a part of me that is still trying to cling to all the negative things because it doesn't think I deserve good things. And that's why we're doing self-love. That's right. It started with me because I thought, you know what? I need to do the 30 days of self-love again. Hey, let's just make a thing out of it. Let's all do it together. But I'm doing it because there's a part of me that doesn't think I'm worthy, doesn't think I'm deserving, and I'm ready to fight that fucking bitch and tell her, go to hell, because we're done. We're breaking up. That's what I'm telling her. That's what I'm telling that inner me who is, just trying to hold me back. But actually, that's just the tough me talking, right? Because I'm not really that tough. I'm all talk. What I want to show her is to pull her out from the corner, clawing, right? I feel like this inner floof inside of me is backed into a corner. And I just want to grab a chair that I'm going to do over the next couple of days, and then starting with the 30 lessons of self-love, and tell her, you don't need to be afraid of me, and you don't need to be afraid of the life that we deserve. This morning I randomly opened up my gratitude journal, and the page it landed on was one of my favorite quotes from Henry James. It's time to start living the life you've imagined. And it is time to start living the life you've imagined. And I know I didn't see that by mistake, because it was some random page. It wasn't even at the beginning of the book. It was like June 29th. But what was perfect about that is not only was it in my gratitude journal, it's also on my whiteboard, and it's been on my whiteboard for about 5 years. And, I adore Henry James. So, when I see that, it touches me and it reminds me. And so there may be parts of us, and maybe that part that came out where I was trying to be all tough, right? Maybe that came out because that's how we do feel about this part that tries to hold us back and anchor us. That's how we feel about the anchors. We feel angry. But a lot of times those anchors that we feel inside of us, they're based on something that's painful. And it's based on an old limiting belief that we have to be defensive about everything, that we have to self-protect, and that we have to keep everything away from us that might possibly hurt us, because we can't trust anything. Trust is going to be a big, big topic during self-love, because without trust, it's going to be hard to attain that self-love. You are going to have to trust yourself more than you have ever trusted yourself in your life, because that is going to be the truest foundation for your house of self-love. You have to trust yourself. I have it written in 3 different places in my room, and I still struggle to trust myself. But I know now that we're going to be able to do this, and we're going to do this together. Okay, you're not alone in this. I'm here with you, and I'll be struggling just as much as you may be, no matter where we are in our journey of self-love. Because there's always going to be that one topic that just hits you between the eyes that go, oh God, I forgot about that. And we have to go through it. And we're going to learn how to process it and heal it in that moment and not push down anything anymore. All right. So to finish off, the definition of self-love: regard for one's own well-being and happiness, chiefly considered as a desirable rather than a narcissistic characteristic. Okay, it's a desirable characteristic. It is telling you that this is what you deserve. You deserve that love. You deserve that respect for yourself. The greatest love you will ever have is the love for oneself. All right, there's a great Oscar Wilde quote that is very similar to that, and I'll see if I can find that for tomorrow. But I'm sure you can look it up. If you look up self-love and Oscar Wilde, you could probably Google it. And here I'm saying that I could probably Google it, and it really does hit home. It really does hit home. So let's see, self-love, Oscar Wilde. So let's see if we can find it. Here it is. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Oscar Wilde. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. So, that's one of my favorites. Let's read this one last time and then we'll get scooting. My best self. I trust that when I'm doing what's best for me and being the happiest version of myself, the right sorts of relationships will appear in my life. Could be fixed family relationships. It could be friendships. It could be romantic partnerships. It could be business relationships. It could be all these different things, because people are going to start to see your glow. That means I can let go of all my worries about the future, knowing that my only job is to be happy in this moment, while simultaneously attaining a cosmic level of enlightened awareness and total psychological self-actualization. It literally says, at the end. But let's do that. Breathe in. And breathe out all the negative. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. When we start the lessons of self-love, I don't think they'll be this long because the topics are pretty self-explanatory and pretty straightforward. But as we go through the cards and we go through, the setting the foundations, they might be a little longer. But that's simply based on the fact that it's because it's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to set those foundations. Okay. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for hanging in there this long. Please take care of yourselves. All right. Like I said, there's times when we're going to experience trauma. You know, somebody's trauma is no worse than yours. So please, it's part of the reason we feel like we don't deserve to heal is because we think our trauma is not as bad as someone else's. That trauma is their trauma. Your trauma is your trauma. Stay in your own lane when you're trying to heal. Okay? That doesn't mean that theirs isn't bad. It's just different than yours and what you've dealt with. I took a long time to get to a healing place because I just thought that mine wasn't as important as everybody else that was having problems around me. And then I realized one day the only way to help other people is to help myself as well. And that's why I started this long ass healing journey. And it was a long one. And I'd like to think that I finally got to the end of it. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be the branches and the lessons we learn, but the core of that journey is done. Now I'm learning the things that will help me solidify where I want to be. So, as Henry James said, because it's time to start living the life you've imagined. Excuse me. Wow, look at that. I had a Freudian slip there. The life you've deserved. Yes, I do deserve this life. But it's time to start living the life you've imagined, right? And again, from Oscar Wilde, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. So there you go, right? Again, have a great, great day. I will see everybody back here tomorrow. Self-Care Wednesday is tomorrow. We're going to throw in some sprinkling of self-love. I am going to see the movie Easter Sunday today because that's half my heritage, and I have a funny feeling I'm going to laugh my ass off during that. But, I don't know, maybe that's a shameless plug to go support a Filipino film. Hey, he's half like me, so, you know. But anyways, we'll see everybody back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch, or you can catch the replay on YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. Facebook obviously is underneath my name, Shelly Marie Lucas. And I do forward these on to Twitter. If you want the short version, say you missed one of these during the 30 Days of Self-Love. If you want the short version, TikTok, the Aloha Perspective. 1 minute. But if you want some depth into what I'm talking about, come back here. All right. Hope everybody has a great, great day. I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Thank you again so much for hanging in there and have a wonderful, wonderful day.